One, 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 one. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to one-on-one at Legacy Maker Sports Network. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of One-on-One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and of course, Aaron on the amazing Bowie Television. I'm so glad to be with you all today as we dig a little bit into Season 5. We're in our 4th episode of Season 5, and with me today, I have one of my inspirations in the business. I know you'll probably say, "Oh, be quiet, Darrell. What you talking about?" But no. Definitely excited about this one because this one's actually a couple of years in the making. We've talked about it in the past. It just never came to fruition, but now it's happening, and I'm super duper excited. And with me today, he is the sports director for WFXR, Fox, and WWCW in Roanoke, Virginia. My man, Jermaine Ferrell. How you doing, Jermaine? How's everything going today, brother?
Well, it took me, 5 years or even longer than that to say your name right, because I was always called you Darrell, and you never corrected me. So now, I know it's Darrell, but you never correct. You got correct. Look,
nickname.
Mama named him Darrell. I'm gonna name him Darrell. So you gotta correct me on that. Buddy.
It's okay. Look, let me tell you. I told somebody. People say, "Why don't you never?" I said, "Because it's like a nickname for me." I had 2 friends that are spelled the name exact same way, and they're Darrell. And so when I was a kid growing up, I got called Darrell so much. I just like, okay, well, hey, I'm Darrell as a nickname. And that's the way I embrace it. So that's why I never really get upset with anybody. Like early on, I was just like, it is what it is. It's spelled that way. I can't be mad at people when it's spelled that way.
Like I said, official name, government name, you got to go
government name.
That's right. But it's a joy being on your show. I mean, I saw your open. You had all those big time guests. So you're pretty much scraping the bottom of the pudding cup, but
no,
it's always a joy to
no. Definitely not the case on that one. It's fun because it's like I used to when the first season we did it. I was like, all right, how do I want to do this? How do I want to approach it? And we started it during COVID, so we had a little bit of we had way more interview portions, and so as the years went along, I cut the interview portions into we're doing 12 interviews, and then we get into the football season. So but I'm so glad that I was able to get you here for the 5th anniversary. So thank you once again.
5th brother. Anniversary too. Happy anniversary. I didn't bring you anything. My bad.
Hey, you're here. That's all the present I need.
What is the 5th anniversary? Is it paper, wood, or what is it?
That's a really good question. I don't know. Lilac. It could be in it.
It'll be something. We don't know. We got to figure it out. But yeah,
exactly.
It's on your show, and like I said, I've admired you too from what you've built because you've really taken something that you've had a dream. What was that TV show? You had a hot comb and a dream, and now you got all this. But it's But congratulations on your success with the Legacy Maker Sports Network because it has really grown. I mean, you're not only are you started off regionally, you're national, now you're international because you've covered stuff outside of the country too. So kudos what you've done and keep up the good work, as they say, sir.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, but it's people like you that were kind to me in the beginning that didn't push me to the side just because of how I started or what I started. You truly looked at me like somebody who truly cared about the business, and I don't take it for granted. So I will always appreciate you, brother. Always.
No problem. And then you got interns and all that other stuff. You made it when you have people wanting to be your intern and help you out with your product. Because we were covering the Virginia gays. Oh, that's my interns over there. Like, holy cow, you got more interns than anybody. So,
man, I got people everywhere.
You used to know me. Now they know me. Now everybody want a piece of Darrell.
Well, everybody, look, let's go ahead and get this party started. You know how we start this episode, how we start every episode of One-on-One, and that's with the check-in. All right. So, Jermaine, with the check-in. We want to check in on you, your family, your friends. How are things right now with Jermaine?
Well, everything is going all right. I mean, we had a tough situation. We lost one of our coworkers here at the station over the weekend, and it was tough for that. We're trying to take it one day at a time. And, in a situation, there's no rule book on handling how you lose a coworker. And, our thoughts and prayers go out to Gary Boyer. I mean, he was he was one of our glue guys, a backbone guy, director, editor, everything you can name it. He did a great job. So I'd like to dedicate this portion of the show to him because fantastic. I mean, he worked with us at the station for years. He did weather for us. He did digital. He did it all. So kudos to him, and our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and definitely our coworkers here at WFXR. So been a tough time, but overall, what we're in the middle of now is we're doing our Hardee's Friday Night Blitz Media Day. So we do a weekly Friday night show in the fall dedicated to high school football in our area in southwest of Central Virginia. We cover over 60 high schools. So we're bringing the coaches in and we're doing interviews with them and as they get ready for the season. And it's been real fun to bring the coaches in, to bring them all in. So we definitely appreciate them coming in. And it's over the next 8 days. And, high school football is big, as you well know. I mean, I know you're big with Amelia. I mean, you got them on lock. So high school football in the Commonwealth is tremendous, no matter what part of the state, whether it's the 757, the 804, all that stuff like that, the 703 and everywhere like that. And then, like I said, our neck of the woods, the 434 and the 540 and all that. So it's real big. A lot of good teams, a lot of good athletes, and it's great to see them and put them in a situation here where, we can talk to them and see how they're doing and their goals for the season. So we've been doing this over the last few years, and it's been really a big thing for us because we get a chance to talk to them. So it's been fun. And really being in the business, Darrell, as you well know, it's very rewarding because you have an opportunity to share people's stories and share what they do. So it's been a blessing. And, I'm proud to be a part of where we are here in Roanoke and Lynchburg Market and Southwest and Central Virginia because we have a lot of great athletes and a lot of big time stuff. So it's been fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best thing about it. We're getting to the fun part of the year, as I like to call it. I mean, for me, I always tell my team the busy season is on the horizon. And for me, I know once ACC Media Day happens, from that point on, it's like a blitz. So you're probably like that until like April. and
really, Darrell, I mean, it's really, you kind of get a chance to catch your breath, but then when really the middle of July hits, like I said, you have it's what they call talking season because everybody's talking about how good they're going to be or their expectations. And that's what you have, obviously, the ACC Media Days and all the other conferences, obviously, throughout the state. When you look at what the areas represent, I mean, in our neck of the woods, we have Liberty, they're in Conference USA. You have Old Dominion, they're in the, they're in the Sun Belt. And then, obviously, Richmond, they're in the CAA. And obviously, they're moving on to another conference. I think they're moving to the Patriot League, or is it Patriot League?
They're moving to the Patriot League.
So, VMI and our neck of the woods, they're in the Southern Conference. So this is the time of the year where everybody's optimistic. Everybody's 0-0. Virginia Tech and Virginia, they're obviously in the ACC, but everybody's optimistic. And that's what you have to, in this time of the year, you have to be excited. And we're fired up about our teams and we're fired up about who we cover. And I will say this, I think, people are talking and we probably might be getting ahead of a few things. I know you want to talk about college, but I think, this is an interesting year. This is the third year for both Brent Pry and obviously Tony Elliott. And the fact is with Virginia Tech, the expectations are very high. Virginia, obviously, this is the year. I mean, obviously, the last couple of years have been devastation in what happened to them. But I think they're ready to turn the corner and do some good things in Charlottesville and excitement in Blacksburg. And then, obviously, Russ Huesman, what he's doing at Richmond, a tremendous job, what he's doing at Richmond. And, Washington Lee, what the Division III schools. I mean, we have Roanoke College, which they are they haven't played a football game at Roanoke College since 1942. They're bringing back college football in the Division III league. So Roanoke College playing a club year this year, and they're getting into the ODAC. we have Ferrum. This is their last year playing Division III because they're moving up to Division II, playing in the Carolinas Conference. So just in our neck of the woods, there's a lot going on.
Right.
William and Mary, the success they've had there, and then Old Dominion trying to get things rocking and rolling down there again. So this is a lot of colleges at all divisions, and there's something for everybody. If you like FBS, you got those schools. If you like FCS or Division II and Division III, you got a lot of options. So it's going to be a fun year for the colleges in our area.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to kind of deep dive into that here in the next couple of weeks. Well, let's start talking about Jermaine. I want to know when you were, I don't know, 8, 9, 10. What was that thing that sparked your passion for sports when it came down to it, and that thing said, okay, sports is my life, is what I want to do, or in some form of the fashion, just what was your passion? Where did that passion for sports start from?
Well, I tell you, growing up, it was funny. Like if you're in the neighborhood, you played sports in the street, go by the Buick, run the route to the Buick, or run the route to the Oldsmobile or the Pontiac or wherever it was, That's what it was. We played in the street. We had our backyard. We had a basketball court in the backyard. It was dirt. Can't scuff up dirt.
Nah.
We did that. And then when we wanted to play the bigger games, we'd go to different parks in our area, in our city of Roanoke where I grew up. And it really was a fun time. I mean, the neighborhoods. I mean, I remember as a kid, go to the cherry tree. You pluck cherries or apples off people's yards. They didn't care. It was there. You had a fruit tree or grapes. We had a grapevine. But just playing, and I think it was more in the summertime, because the summertime you could play all day long till the sun comes up, till the sun goes down. But then after school, you'd play rec football or basketball, whatever else. And then, you'd play until it's cold. Like we played basketball in the cold, wear our jackets. Didn't matter. We played basketball. And it was so much fun growing up as a kid in Roanoke because there was so much to do. And, those times are different. I mean, a lot of kids, maybe they don't play outside as much because they have technology and things to occupy their time. But Darrell, I tell you, it was such a special time. I had great parents. My mom, my dad supported me and, doing sports. My big brother, fantastic. My sisters, they were fantastic. I mean, so, grandparents, my family was awesome. And, we've had our fair share of tragedies too. We lost some loved ones over the years, whether it's the gun violence or, just as they get older, it's their time. But the biggest thing is just to have that family. And then my beautiful wife, Yolanda, big supporter of what I do and couldn't do it without her. But really, family is real big for me. It's important when you have your siblings and you have your nieces and nephews. And, I really enjoy what I do, and then, obviously going into broadcast, I grew up as a kid. I mean, I would take the Roanoke Times newspaper, pretend to do the news, the weather, and the sports. And I pretend to do them all, and then the sports page was neat. You read all that and you just pretend to do it. And I've had a love for broadcasting and sports broadcast for years. I mean, we'd grow up, me and my brother, we'd watch, he was a Washington at the time Redskin fan, and he still is, Commanders now. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, so it was neat. The colors, we would take our pennants and we'd be, in the backyard and we would just play the game. We'd play touch football and we'd do all that. But it was just so much fun back then. And, growing up as you get older, you finally live out your dream. And I've been doing this for a long time. And finally in 2015 to get the opportunity to come back, to start up a sports department and start up our TV station news department. I mean, we're going on, our 9th year. We started in 2015 in October because at the time the NBC affiliate WSLS was doing news this station. And then when Nexstar purchased it, they purchased both WFXR and WWCW, CW affiliate and the Fox affiliate. And Nexstar decided, hey, we want to do our own newscast. So we've been doing that. And it's great to see something that I've been a part of and see it grow the way it has over the years. So it's so special and neat to see it and to be a part of it. I mean, when we first started, no one knew who we were. Now it's kind of like what you did, Darrell. I mean, no one knew what Legacy Maker Sports Network was. It's like, who are these guys? I mean, we probably had so much trouble getting credentialed for things. And now people know who you are, and it's not because it's by accident, because your hard work. And we had to do the same thing. We had to start from nothing. We'd start from scratch. Now people know what WFXR Sports is, and people know what we do here. And, we're big on sports around here, and we obviously with Fox and all the sports they have, and CW growing into a sports network and covering the ACC, so it's like a hand in hand thing. But the growth we've had here over the years is great, and we enjoy what we do, and it's a privilege, and it's something we don't take lightly, because it's all about fun. We enjoy what we do, but the key is to share that story, and it's not necessarily national stuff. I mean, Darrell, anyone can get stuff on national teams, but can they get the local stuff? And that's really where the calling card for us. We're all about local. We want to share those local stories, and there's so many good ones out there.
Yeah, I think people don't realize like the fight that it takes to grow from one point to another. Some people think nowadays, oh, you just go on social media, you toss it, this and that, and you next thing you know, you're there. No. Some people do it because they, like you said, they're doing it for the clicks, they're doing it for the clout, or whatever they want to call it. And that part is probably the toughest part, is trying to establish yourself in a world where everybody's trying to do it, maybe some for the right reasons and maybe some for the not so right reasons. That part is always tough, but that's the part that like is gratifying when you've shown. And that's the thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, because the thing is, anybody can create something, but because everyone just creates a media organization just to create it so they can get into a game or do whatever they want. But let's face facts. How many times did you get turned down for Washington Commanders credentials until finally you get season credentials? Yeah. Because no one knew who you were. Heck, it's tough for me. I am a TV station, and it's hard for me to get Washington Commander credentials. No offense against them, but there's only so many credentials you can give them. And obviously they take care of the local markets, and they take care of the teams that the stations and the media outlets have been covering them from day one. But someone from the outside, unless you have a reason, they're not just going to give you a credential. And the way and you've busted your butt for that. So kudos what you've done.
It's a fight. I'm not going to sit here and act like it isn't. It's definitely a fight to get to that level.
But you've earned it. There's now, it's like, okay, we see who he is. We trust who he is. He's going to be credentialed. His crew is going to be credentialed. But I like you said, the original question, because I think I went so far off the question, maybe. My passion is really, the biggest passion I guess is just sharing stories. And then, after high school, joined the military, and I used to do, I wanted to go into education, wanted to go teach, but, that wasn't really my thing yet. And maybe when I get even older, I can figure out what I want to do when I grow up. But the biggest thing is I learned about broadcasting when I went to Cameron University in Lawton, Oklahoma, had great professors there. They gave me the hands-on training I needed. And then, started off as a morning producer, and then I moved up through the ranks to, an associate producer, and then obviously, being a reporter. And I started off in news, and I think that's a good thing. I think everyone has a passion of doing sports, but learning about news, I love political science. I love, stuff like that, or history or government. So there's other things to fall back on if you don't like it. But the biggest thing is, I worked my way up to where I am today, and the journey has been great. It's not over yet. I still have time, but it's been a blessing to keep doing what I'm doing, and to interact with a lot of people. There's a lot of great media members out there that you take stuff from people. We all kind of sample each other, be like, okay, here's this
a little bit.
Yeah. And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with that, because okay, you could try it. If it doesn't work, okay, you have something else. But in this industry, we all sample each other. There are original ideas, people have them, but it's like, okay, here's an opportunity, and there you have it. So, but like I said, it's been a great run, a great ride, and it's greatly appreciated. And we'll continue to ride it, as they say, till the wheels fall off, as they say.
But so now, you've been doing this for such a long time, and and when you switched over, because I met you when you were here down in the Richmond area. Right. So I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a little sad when they were like, yeah, I'm heading back down to heading to Roanoke. I was like, oh man. And it was like a lot of the people that I built friendships with in that time frame had started leaving. And I'm like, but I was so happy that you got the opportunity to shine, to really to grow that thing down there in Roanoke. And I was just like, that's my guy. So it's always nice to see the growth. And I think you said something like, you can never stop growing in this industry. Like it's
Right.
something that you can always, when you think, oh, I'm there. No, you can always get that much better. So, it's just a good thing to see overall.
Well, and the thing is that you're never too old to learn. Like I said, I turned 50 in March, so I mean, half a century I've been on this earth, and you're never too old to stop learning. And especially in this industry, things change so much. I mean, think
Mhm.
about this. When COVID hit, people were wondering, what are we going to do? Well, there's this thing called Zoom, and Zoom has been around. We just didn't realize it was there, and we
We
have
adapted, man.
well, it used to be if you did interviews and they weren't around, you had to have a drive to them or you do a phone interview. And I was like,
Hmm.
okay, you get their picture up there and there you go. Now you have Zoom or anything else of that nature. I know this isn't exactly Zoom. I think it's called, what is it, one on one or whatever.
Yeah,
You got,
this is StreamYard. StreamYard's like a best friend. I'm telling you,
yeah,
man. He can do a little bit of everything on
you
StreamYard.
could do it. Yeah, yeah. So you got that, and the thing is that just the technology in this industry, I mean, people are shooting stories off their cell phones. You don't need the camera.
Yeah.
Everybody is like a mobile journalist. I mean, and you don't even have to say you work for a station. I mean, think about all the videos you see out there. People are shooting it off their phones or people are doing interviews and all that. And, you send it to TV stations if you can't be there. So the technology has changed. The,
Yep.
the growth of the industry has changed. And it's really, I think it's going to even get even bigger. I mean, it's amazing the technology that has changed in the last 5 years or the last 10 years. I mean, I remember I started off videotape. We use videotape to shoot our stories. Now we use video cards. I mean, you slap it on a laptop, you edit the thing there. And so, and who's to say and people are using their phones to shoot stuff, but who's to say, Darrell in 5 years, what's it going to look like in 2029? I
Right.
mean, it's just going to be crazy, the technology, and it's not going to stop. I mean, heck, when we get up to 21, 24, 100 years from now, which,
21, 24.
I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm there. I don't know. But God only knows what the technology is going to be like.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, and I remember when I think like it's like CDs. You look at, I remember when I said, "Oh man, CDs ain't never going out of style." Like I never thought the day, because I thought, "Oh, this is the highest of the technologies they could get." The next day, here comes streaming, and I'm like, "What?" I was like, I didn't know you can do all of that. So it's
I
amazing.
grew up. I grew up. I remember there were albums and there was 8-track players and
Yeah,
cassettes, and then the CD came out. Then the DVD came out.
you're
Now
like,
it's
what?
streaming. I mean, Blockbuster just went. I mean, they've been out of business. Red Box and all these places where you used to go pick up the movies and all that. Heck, Netflix delivered you the DVDs. Now it's like, okay, you delivered the DVD, but now you go on a stream, and that's where the industry is going. The industry has really taken off, and what's kind of neat is, like I said, what are we going to do next? I mean, now you got like games. You can watch a game on a stream. It used to be the only way you could watch is on the TV or you can listen to it
Right.
on the radio. Now it's everything is streaming, whether it's audio or video. And that's the thing. Games, you can watch a game like Thursday Night Football is on Amazon Prime. You have ESPN Plus. You can watch stuff that way. Conferences have that now where they stream their games now. So, and that's the next. I think that's really the biggest thing that's really going to take off is, okay, what is the technology going to be like? So it's really a big thing, and it's so neat to see how things have grown over the years.
Yeah, can't wait to see what 7G looks like in the 8K TVs. I know they're
Oh
coming at some
yes,
point. We already seen the videos. We're just waiting for the 8K to be the
Mhm.
main thing.
Yeah.
Let's I know we talked about your career, talked about college, but let's I know we hinted at it a little bit earlier. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Virginia Tech. Those are the bad boys in the state. Even though JMU has been amazing, we saw how amazing Liberty was last year, making it to the Fiesta Bowl. But we all know that even though their records didn't show it, that Virginia Tech are those two teams that everybody kind of want to see how well they do. And they've been on the downward, trying to get back up. Tech won a bowl game last year. Virginia fell down a little bit. So I wanted to get your take a little bit on the season coming up. We last year, Tech 7-6. They finished 4th in the ACC. They were 7th in offense and defense in the ACC, and they won the Military Bowl over number 23 Tulane. Virginia, on the other hand, 3-9, 2-6 in the ACC, finished next to last in the ACC. They were last in defense, and they were 12th in offense. This is a big year for both coaches, in my opinion. And I know that you can look at it and say, well, look, Coach Pry is on the up and up, but it's your Virginia Tech. Same thing with Coach Elliott. He's like, you're at UVA, you're at one of the bigger schools in the state. You got to figure this out. What are your thoughts on both teams heading into the 2024 season?
Well, I mean, first of all, we got to look at Virginia Tech and what really happened when they really took off, when Kyron Jones took over as quarterback. I mean, this team was 1-3, and people were looking at it like, well, what is this team going to do? I remember when they lost to Marshall, a game that they should have won. But then the team kind of took off. They took their lumps, lost like to Florida State and Louisville and all that. But once they kind of got the offense going and they ran the ball and they passed it, now you got something. Then you enter the Military Bowl, which I'm still drying out from because it was a sucky game. But when you look at it, they finished. To get 5 wins in the AC was impressive. 5-3. Their defense. I mean, if you look at probably the second half of the year when they were 1-3, and then you go, they go. Like I said, they went 6-3. This kind of the second part of the year. They've kind of figured out, okay, this is what we need to do to be successful: running the ball, passing the ball, doing all those things. And obviously winning the bowl game was awesome. Now you can build off of that. I think the biggest thing also that's helped Virginia Tech over the years with Brent Pry is they've made a commitment to recruit the Commonwealth. I mean, when Justin Fuente was here, it was kind of like they didn't really recruit the Commonwealth. A lot of times you'd have teams, high schools that didn't even see a Virginia Tech coach for years. And that's something that cannot happen. You have to lock down home. Will there be players that get out of the Commonwealth? Absolutely. That's how it is. But the bottom line is you have to take care of recruiting at home. And I think this year's team, when you look at the record and you look at the expectation, this team has an expectation of doing well and having success, contending for the ACC. And that's what Brent Pry wants to do. Plus, the playoffs have expanded. And, Virginia Tech's one of those picks because the thing is, they return a lot of their offense, a lot of their defense. So that's really going to be a big thing. What can they do to continue the upward trajectory in Blacksburg? And this team can do that because they have the pieces. Now, obviously, looking at their schedule is not a daunting schedule. I mean, it's a schedule that, if you look at it, and usually I do play the schedule game. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility this team can win 9 or 10 games. I mean, obviously, they have Clemson. That's going to be a tough one. And really, like I said, I mean, I think, obviously you start off with Vanderbilt and, Old Dominion, down in Norfolk has given Virginia Tech a lot of trouble the last 2 times they've made it to Norfolk.
It's been
so
rough.
You can't really count that. It's been kind of tough. But overall, I mean, those are games. I mean, if they can get off to a good start, get going, they can build momentum, and then all of a sudden they're looking good. And then, it's a possibility they could be undefeated heading into the Clemson game. And that would be a neat one. I mean, they got Thursday night game with Boston College. They got a big one on Miami on our Friday night. And then, a week later, they have to fly out to Stanford, which is interesting. The ACC, I never thought in my lifetime I would see Stanford, Cal, and SMU as ACC opponents, but they are. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. And I think with the pieces there, where you have the quarterback, the running back, the offensive line, they built depth on that. And the defense is getting stronger and stronger. I think there's an opportunity for this team to do well. When you look at the University of Virginia and what they've done, you look at their game, like I said, they were 3-9 last year, but there were like 3 or 4 games that they could have won. I mean, there were games that they were in it to win it at the end, and that's got to be some optimism when you look at it. Virginia really got to look at finishing games, and they finished, near the bottom of the ACC in a lot of categories, including the record. But the thing is, Tony Elliott, you look at what has happened to the team. I mean, obviously the death of 3 players and this tragedy, they ended their season early for obvious reasons. And then last year was like, let's get back to football. Let's get back on the field. And now, yes, their memory is still there, still going to remember the players that lost their lives tragically. But here's the thing. Now it's like, okay, can we get things going? They do have some options at quarterback. And the thing is that can they finish games? I think really that's the biggest thing. Now, their schedule is really tough. I mean, yeah, they open up with Richmond, but heck, you got Maryland on the schedule, and you got Clemson on the schedule, you got Notre Dame on the schedule, and I think Florida State's on the schedule. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but their schedule is tough. I mean, so they could show improvement, but then on the flip side, is that they could be looking at a record of, not having a good record, even though they're showing improvement. But the thing is, if they're in a game, like there was some, like the James Madison game last year, had a chance to win that. I think you were down there with me.
Oh man,
That
they
was
were
a
up.
close one. And even though it was mostly a JMU crowd, they were there. I mean, they had a chance against NC State. They had a little bit of a lead against Maryland, so they were in games. They just couldn't finish, and that's really the thing they have to do. They have to finish games. They have to learn how to win, because the last few years really haven't been that good there, for obvious reasons. But Tony Elliott can turn the thing around and get them going, and I think this third year is a key. Obviously, the expectations are, basically, can they finish 6-6? And looking at their schedule, if they play their capabilities, who's to say they couldn't finish 6-6 and maybe go to a bowl? But all those things have to fall into place, and they have to play the game. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Charlottesville and Blacksburg. But I think these two teams are kind of going in a direction they need to go.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too, and I want to see Virginia do well. I think Tech is going to definitely have a better year than they did last year. I think they'll get off to a better start. For me, I'm just intrigued to see, and I know it's tough because the fan base is not giving Tony Elliott, in my opinion, at certain times, time to truly get a chance to get this team, going. The expectations were so crazy, especially the way the Bronco left. It was just a lot. So I'm hoping that it goes well for them this year. Can't wait to see what both teams do. And then back in November, we'll head down to Tech and and see if they can actually beat them again.
I mean, here's what's interesting. The last time, they played there in COVID in 2020, and it wasn't, the crowd wasn't there because it was COVID. Mm-hmm. And then in 2022, obviously the game was canceled due to the tragedy. So in theory, this is the first true Virginia Tech game in Blacksburg. You got to go back to 2018. So we're talking 6 years. And, in that game, what a comeback by the Hokies. They got the win, and that was an interesting game right then and there. But, it'll be interesting because the crowd, like I said, they haven't really experienced a game at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech game in Blacksburg really hasn't been the experience since 2018. So you're talking about 6 years. So be interested to see how that game is and see where both teams are, as we reach that final game in the year for both teams.
Yeah, can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. All right, now we're going to head to our next segment here. It is time for my favorite segment. It's time for Quick One. All right, Jermaine, are you ready?
Hey, real quick before you start,
you
have some good graphics. You're taking your creativity game to another level. So I got to give you props. Got little stingers, little things just pop up in there like you Darrell, Owens, you D.O. baby.
D.O. in the building.
Raise the roof. There you go.
Raise the roof. So, Jermaine, are you ready?
From the days of Walmart to.
Look at me now.
There you go. How you like me now? There you go.
Yeah, I got to go to the White House last year. That was pretty cool.
See,
it was cool. I never a dream of mine. So like you said earlier, I'm a big history nerd, and so for me, getting to step foot in the White House was surreal.
I will tell you, surreal. Back in 1986, we went on a 6th grade trip to D.C. It was our class trip, and I got a chance going to the White House. It was kind of neat seeing President Reagan in there. Like Reagan was in there. Like wow. So. That back then, I think you had the tours. You could actually have people tour the White House. Obviously, you can't do that now. But back in the day, as a little skinny 6th grader with hair, going in there was pretty cool.
Yeah, you can't do that no more, unfortunately. All right. So, Jermaine, are you ready for your version of the quick ones today?
There you go. We go quick.
All right, here we go. First one, favorite sports moment.
Wow. Boy. Well, favorite sports moment. Now, are you talking something maybe I've covered or something I've witnessed?
It can be any. It can be covered, personal, you name it.
Can I give you moments, or is there just?
You can give me moments.
Well, the big, obviously going to a Final Four, covering Virginia win the Final Four in 2019 after the year they had previously.
Right.
For them to come back and to be in the Final Four and not, to see them just win it. Tony Bennett did his thing and an awesome thing. To cover the first ever college football playoff in Arlington back in 2015. That was pretty cool. Moment, I would say, and this is kind of categorized, seeing our local teams win a state championship.
Right.
because we cover them all year long, and it doesn't matter the sport. It could be basketball or any of the sports, football, whatever. But it's neat to see them because these are like little young people. You cover them, and to see them win a championship is so neat. So I think that really is where it's at. I think so. Yeah, I would say those are some of the sports. Seeing the Dallas Cowboys win 3 Super Bowls in 4 years in the '90s, being a Cowboys fan.
Hey man, it's gonna
Now I
happen
don't know
again.
if I'll ever see it again in my lifetime, but at least I saw it. So there.
At least you saw it. Yeah, look, hey, I feel you. Look, as a Packers fan,
They said every 14 years the Packers win a Super Bowl, so this is the 14th year. So got my fingers crossed.
And you know what? Well, here's the thing. What's embarrassing? You're a Packer guy. Not that that's embarrassing, but to see what they did to Dallas in the playoffs last year, I didn't see that on my big book.
I didn't expect
I mean,
that.
you can't play that poorly. I mean, you can't get in the hot streak and then into. And again, if the score was 48-32, it wasn't that close.
Yeah, we got off to a good jump. I mean, once we got off the way it started, it was more of a they were comfortable. And they even took Love out of the game, which I was like, no, don't do that. just finish it up and then go from there. And then Dallas started inching and they was like, all right, let's go ahead and finish it up. But look, I'll take it. Still think they should have beat San Francisco, but that's another story for another day. Next one, worst sports moment.
Well, heck, the recent years of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, Dallas go like 1-15 was tough. Probably, I tell you what was tough, and this was because I felt really in my heart of hearts, I felt they could have won it all. Was another neat moment going down to cover the women's Final Four in Dallas, and to see Virginia Tech lose a tough one to LSU. They were beating LSU. I think by 9 or 10 going to the fourth quarter. Usually when Tech's ahead, that's a wrap. But LSU came out and they took it from them. And I felt honestly, if Tech could have beat LSU, I felt like they could have won it all because I think they can beat Iowa. This is just my humble opinion. And,
they almost beat them this year.
That was a tough. Almost beat them this year. You're right.
Yeah.
But I felt that even last year. I mean, the previous year when they made it to Dallas in the Final Four, I'm thinking, okay, they can win this thing. So I think those are the things that when you look at was pretty tough to see. Again, the worst sports moment, seeing some of our local teams lose heartbreakers in state championship games. That's tough. But yeah, those are some of the things. One of my own personal ones when I was in high school. It was happening every other year. Like in '89, my brother played for Patrick Henry High School in Roanoke because you got to distinguish because there's a lot of Patrick Henrys out there. So the one in Roanoke, and they played Pulaski County, and they say Pulaski County always had good teams, and Pulaski County, beat us. And then, my senior year, we played in Pulaski. We're up 21-7 in the fourth. They come back with 2 touchdowns and a field goal, and they beat us. So that was a last-second field goal. And this kid, Brian Duncan, I mean, he was like automatic. He beat E.C. Glass on a field goal. He beat Woodbridge on a field goal. And Pulaski, made a deep run in the playoffs. And then the following year, they ended up winning the state championship. Back then, it was it was 3 classifications, but each classification divided into divisions.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, those were kind of the tough ones to see. Seeing your favorite team lose, really in general. Seeing the Yankees blow. Well, yeah, seeing like the Yankees blow a 3-0 lead to the Red Sox, that was painful because that's never happened. And you figure if you're up 3-0, you're going to win one of those games, and it didn't happen. But in fact, the Red Sox went on; they won 8 straight. They won the last 4, and then they swept the Cardinals in the World Series.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember like it was yesterday. I know it's bad memories. I know it's bad memories, but remember like it was yesterday. Next one, and here's I call them the fun ones. I skipped one. Wait a minute. First, before that one, favorite athlete of all time. There we go. I can't forget that.
Wow, favorite athlete of all time. Man,
let's see if the trade
that's
continues.
A good question. There's a lot of good ones. I mean,
there's a name that always pops up. I'm trying to see if it happens.
Well, I mean, to be honest, being a Lakers fan, I always thought Magic was my favorite athlete, basketball player. But probably my favorite, if you're talking about pure athlete, and there's so many, one you kind of got to go with a guy like a Jim Brown. I mean, Jim Brown, what
Jim
he
Brown's a good
did.
answer.
I mean, and the funny thing is, his favorite sport was lacrosse. He was dominant in lacrosse, good in running and football and all that. I mean, Jim Brown's a good one. I mean, so yeah, I would say probably Jim Brown is probably one of my guys,
solid.
and Magic Johnson. Yeah, so I would say that. And obviously, Jesse Owens. He's
Yep,
an
my
all
cousin.
timer.
My God.
Anybody got with the last name Owens is family, so we
There you go. You claim Terrell Owens too, don't you?
Yeah, I gotta claim him. There's some of my guys I gotta push to the
Some
side
you
a
did,
little bit.
yeah, I would say, like I said, those are the guys that kind of paved the way. Like a Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, all those guys. I mean, there's so many. I know you want one, but I would.
No, that's fine.
I would say Jim. I would say Jim Brown is probably the guy. I mean, I know being a Cowboys fan, people say, "Well, Emmitt Smith's the greatest running back." I was like, I don't know, Jim Brown. Because the thing is, he didn't play as many games. Think about this: he only played 14 games every season.
Right.
See, the people. That's what I'm saying. If someone rushes for 1,000 yards, he played 17 games. Well, you should rush for 1,000.
Right.
I think the standard for me, if you can rush 12 to 1,300 yards, that's kind of the new 1,000 yards because, if you played 14 games and if you rush for 1,000, that's one thing. I mean, the thing is, the record that, OJ had, the single season record. I mean, Herschel Walker broke it in the USFL, but they played, I think, 18 games,
Yeah.
Eric Dickerson broke the record. He played 16 games. So sometimes certain records you have to put an asterisk by it because, okay, he had more opportunities. So that's how you got to look at a record. I say, yeah, well, he had the single season record. Okay, he played more games.
I can see that.
That's not always that.
I can see
that. All right, so our last two quick ones. First, worst restaurant you've ever been to?
I can't talk about that.
Like
not for fear I might have to go revisit. There's an old saying: never go across a bridge. You might have to come back across. So I gotta plead the fifth. I'm not touching it.
I ain't mad.
I'm just gonna say I because every restaurant has a good day or bad day, but I ain't can't do it. Not I mean, what was it? What your boy Michael Singletary said?
Yeah,
can't play with him, can't coach him, can't do that. So I'm not gonna do that. Sorry.
I ain't mad at you. And the last one,
I'm going on a cross country trip. There you go. All right, let's see if we catch up here. Okay. All right. So 3 famous people. Okay. Well, I think you got to have somebody for comic relief, don't you?
I think you have to. Somebody's got to keep the trip, fun.
Well, I did see the Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. I thought it was pretty good. So I probably you got to have it. So maybe Eddie Murphy would go with us. I think that'd be fun. I think you got to have somebody that is intelligent and can probably carry on a conversation when you're out there. Like if you need a serious conversation. So probably I tell you what, I would take like if you need someone to sing, I guess you would have to take Michael Jackson. I like Michael Jackson. So Eddie Murphy.
You can take Michael Jackson. Yeah.
You need someone to sing, but then you need someone who can carry on a conversation.
Yeah, Eddie and Michael, and they had a song.
Well, they could carry on. Well, those two could definitely carry on a conversation. Third person. Wow.
It's tough, isn't it?
That's a car. So it's a car, right?
It's a car. Yeah.
It could be an RV where there could be some cooking involved.
Yeah, as your cross country trip.
Okay, so we got to be in an RV, so you got to have somebody who can cook. So how about heck, Emerald Lagasse? He can cook. So
hey, look, it's gonna be a great trip. You got your food, you got your entertainment, you got your singing. You're gonna be good to go.
There we go. I think we're back.
I think we're back. Look, it's treating it well. I think that's the sign that it's almost time to wrap this thing up. So, with that being said, that was the Jermaine Ferrell edition.
I think we're back. I think we're kind of.
Yeah, I think we're back in there now. So that was Jermaine Ferrell's edition of Quick Ones. Now let's finish it up with Leave Your Legacy. Jermaine, once again, brother, I'd like to thank you for being on. It's been an absolute pleasure. And we always like to finish up with Leave Your Legacy. So my first question to you is, what type of legacy would you like to leave in the sports world when you're sitting on the beach and you don't retire, you're sitting on the beach drinking pina coladas or whatever your drink of choice is. You might be, having some peanuts. I don't know. But when you're at that time and you're able to sit back and relax and reflect on your career, what do you want your legacy to be? And do you have any special projects going on?
Well, like I said, special projects, again, we're working on I do a segment called Veterans Voices. That's every Tuesday that airs on WFXR. Being a military veteran, I mean, obviously we cover military issues, veterans issues. That's a big project of mine. And obviously we're doing the Hardy's Friday Night Blitz Media Days. We're bringing in the team, so we got that. But I want to leave everything better than I found it. I think that's the biggest thing. If I could touch one person, if I could make them laugh or make them think or make them enjoy what they've done in their career, in sports, if I could just share someone's story and they get a lot of the story, that's what I would love to have. I would love to take that and run with it. So it's been a blessing to be here, be a steward of our sports department, be the guy that's steering the ship, as they say. And that's the thing, mentor, inspire others. I mean, because here's the thing, I'm not going to be the all-time sports director here because someone's going to be in this seat when I'm gone, whether it's to my reward or it's to, something else after I retire. So I think that's the biggest thing is leave everything better than you found it. If you can leave it, that's the key, Darrell, is leave everything better than you found it and be an inspiration. And I feel like, if you can do those things, it's a special time. So it's a joy, and I'm thankful for the opportunities that God has given me to use my talent and ability to help others, the young people in the business and everything like that. So that's really a cool thing right there.
Well, there it is. A legacy that will be a well kept and well loved, in my opinion. Look, like I told you what you meant to me over the years, and I truly appreciate you more than you'll ever know, brother. And I thank you so much. I thank you so much.
Yeah, and the thing is, Darrell, you're laying your own legacy, because the thing is, someone had to do it. Someone had to create legacy maker. And look at the people you've touched. You've touched a lot of people working with you, for you, and everything like that, and the interns and everybody you've given an opportunity to, because you've paved the way for so many others. So kudos what you've done. I'm very proud of you, and it's a joy to know you and consider you a friend and good people. So congratulations on what you've done, and good luck with what you're doing too, because I'm always a fan of yours, sir.
I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate you dealing. Before we run away, real quick, y'all, got to let y'all know what's happening next week. Now, this is the first, y'all. We've never, ever had a Legacy Maker member actually on an episode. But Rob has his own media company who he's been doing this for years along with Legacy Maker. And this will be the first time a Legacy Maker member is going to be on the show. So I'm actually excited for this one. A couple of years ago, I said I was going to start dropping some of my Legacy team on this. So I had to go with I call him the hardest working man in show business. So episode 131, we'll have my guy Rob Johnson on here, and we'll talk about his career and his path, because I believe me, man, Rob works 45 jobs and still finds a way to make things happen. So I got to give credit to my guy. I truly appreciate him, and can't wait for that next week. All right, everybody, that's it. Episode 130 is in the books. My man, Jermaine Ferrell. Jermaine, I appreciate you, bro. Like, more than you'll ever know. And I thank you for coming on for episode 130 of 101. I know season 5, and we're a little late, but I'm glad to have you, brother.
Well, glad to be here. And like I said, it's a joy being a part of your show. And good luck the rest of the way, and have fun, because this is all it's all about, and you're doing a great job. So congratulations, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, sir. That's it, everybody. Episode 130 or 101 here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and, of course, airing on the amazing Bowie Television in Bowie, Maryland. Once again, everybody, thank you all. Jermaine, I will see you in a couple of weeks on the sidelines somewhere in the next couple of weeks, in the next month or so. Once again, everybody, we'll see you all next time. One.
Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody